Perfect. So guys, let's start to talk about sexually transmitted infections, okay? So Alex, can you introduce yourself and answer the first question as well? Do you think that people avoid to talk about STI?
All right, guys. So my name is Alexia. I am 20 years old. I study history at college, and I am also an English teacher at school. Let me see. I am using the cell phone. It's my first time using this platform, so I'm a little lost. But let me see. Do you think people avoid to talk about STI? Yes, I really think people avoid talking about it. I think we have some preconceived ideas about STIs, especially when we talk about homosexual relationships and homosexual sex. So I think we avoid talking about it pretty often.
Okay. And you, Gustavo, can you introduce yourself, please, and answer the first question?
Sure. My name is Gustavo. People usually call me Barska. I am 29 years old. I live in São Paulo, Cajamar. I work as a software engineer, and that's it. About the question, I do believe people avoid talking about it because, for many reasons, but as Alexia said, people get ashamed, people don't have much knowledge about the STI because we don't usually talk about it with our family, our parents, or even at school. So I think there are a lot of reasons for this.
Yeah, it's not a subject that people use it to talk about. And you, Jessica, what do you think?
Yes, it's usually a big taboo in society to talk about it. I think we should have more palestras in school for creating the conscience for the people about the talk.
Okay, introduce yourself, girl, please. I don't know who you are.
I'm sorry. My name is Jessica. I live in Recife. I am a student and I'm trying to improve my speaking in this site.
Okay, and you, Lucas, introduce yourself, please, and answer the first question.
Sure, I'm Lucas, I'm 26. I'm working as an IT technician in a financial company. And I think actually people avoid a lot to talk about STI. Even in your bubble, I think in your bubble, I don't think I have talked about STI with any friends of mine.
I got your point. Yeah. And to Clayton, introduce yourself, please.
So, hi everybody, my name is Clayton. I'm from Paraguay do Sul, Santa Catarina. I'm 21 years and I am a product engineer. About the question, I believe that people avoid a lot to talk about STI for many reasons, but I believe that who have some STIs are afraid about what others think about it, are to judge him or to therefore have some STIs.
Clayton, your voice is phrasing, so I don't understand you completely.
Okay, now you are listening better or not? Can you hear better?
Yeah, a little bit better.
Okay, I repeat again. About the question, so I believe that people avoid to talk about STI I believe people that have some STIs are afraid maybe what other will think about it, and because of that don't share or don't talk about this issue. I think this is one of the points, but have many reasons. Really. Education, for example, and that's it. Did you hear now?
Yeah. Yes, I understand you now. Yeah, it's a huge problem because we don't talk about, and we usually don't know people who are living with an STI. So those people are normally stigmatized. It's a huge problem. And guys, can talk about sex education help reduce the number of people infected with an STI? What do you think about it, Jessica?
In my opinion, for sure, when you have the information, people are more careful, I think, especially teenager who usually don't think much about the consequence.
Okay, and you, Lucas, what do you think?
But as everything on earth, that if one point you have knowledge, probably you do it better. And I don't think it could reduce the number of people infected, because nowadays a lot of the young ones knows what to do to prevent. We don't talk about STI, but we do talk about how to prevent disease. And you know how to do things. I don't think the number will reduce like when the condoms were created. There was a huge impact on Earth, on our lives. But for sure, yeah, the you should talk about more, but I don't think you reduce like in a huge numbers.
I got your point. So do you think that we don't talk so much about STI in general, specifically about STI, but do you think that we talk about prevention?
Yeah, exactly, that one. And I think the topic could be like how to treat, how to how the disease work, how the transmissions work. If you find a guy with AIDS, and I don't know how to say AIDS.
No problem.
Whatever. You probably won't touch them. Like, come on, we know that it's not the way that the disease, can be spread. We should know a lot more about that, because some guys have hepatitis, and some kind of hepatitis comes from sexuality, and I don't know which type of hepatitis comes from sexuality, and I think that's the main point.
Yeah, I got your point. Yeah, I think that people should talk about prevention and about treatment. We will discuss more about this on the next question. Alexa, Intil, what do you think about the question number 2?
I don't know. It's hard to say if we are going to reduce something if we don't put it into practice. But I really think it's important to talk about it, especially inside your houses. So I know at school, this is basic. We should have sex education at school, but also with our family and with our parents, because I don't know, sometimes they are from a different generation, and it's harder for them to talk about it than for us that we are younger. But I really think we should do it because, in my opinion, it would reduce the number of people infected. And another thing, we always say like STI as it is just one thing, like we put it all in a box and we have to don't mix it. Like we have diseases that we can treat with creams and we have diseases that we can treat with medicine, but there are some of them like HIV that can lead us to death, and that's really important and we should talk about it. Like hundreds and thousands of people some years ago, some decades ago, died because of it. And just because of it, just because of this disaster, we started talking about it. So in order to not happening again, we should still talk about at schools and especially in our houses.
Perfect. Yeah, actually nowadays, and we have treatment to HIV. So we don't have the cure, but there is some treatment to this infection. Clayton, and you, what do you think?
So I agree that it's very important to talk about it, but about to reduce the number, I'm not sure about it because depend of the group of people that know this information or don't know this information. For example, we have access this information and you know what need to do, but I don't know if the most part of people that get uh, the ST, just a moment, STI, the most part of people that get STI are poor people, for example, they don't have access to the information. If you bring this subject for these people, maybe we reduce this number. But for us, it's more related with conscience about to take more care and use some preservative. But for the poor people, for example, that don't have access to this information, I think we'll have a more impact if we bring this information to them.
Okay. Gustavo, and you, what do you think?
Well, I think talking about it can help a lot and can reduce a lot. Sometimes we think that everybody has access to this knowledge and also to the condom, to, you know, all the things we need to do to prevent. But we have to keep in mind that some people, they are starting their sexual life every single day. There are some people, you know, starting this, and maybe they don't know, they have never heard about it. So it's really important to talk and to have more knowledge, you know, over there.
Okay, and as I said before, now we will discuss a little bit more about campaigns, diagnose, treatment, and prevention. And I want to know about you guys. Do you think that there are enough campaigns to talk about prevention, diagnosis, and the treatment? Clayton.
So basically the same answer that I gave before. So everybody here have access to this information, and for us is this enough? But maybe other people, and mainly poor people, don't have access to this, and for them, I think this is not enough. We need to make this information arrive to them. For this one is not, for these people is not enough. I think is that.
Okay. And you, Gustavo, what do you think?
Well, I think there could be more, campaigns, more initiatives from the government, from private companies. Companies like that are more involved in this market. For example, companies that sell condom or sexual products, they should create more campaigns in order to not only sell their products, but to make it the community, to help the community, not only sell products, but help the community with knowledge. And also, I think the government should go and start using more like social medias, not only the campaigns in the TV or newspaper, but also use the TV and the social medias,
Yeah, it's a way to connect more people. So it's really important to know how to talk with people. And you, Jessica, what do you think?
Particularly, I think they are fair. I think they should give a lecture in schools, create commercials on television where they would address the subject in a clear way, where everyone could understand without very difficult. I also think it's crucial for parents to talk to their children about it. It's what I think could improve.
Okay. And you, Lucas, what do you think?
I think about prevention, it's okay. It's not good, perfect, but it's okay. And diagnosis and treatment, of course, should be more. But I think I have never heard anything from the public yet about how to diagnose something or how the treatment uh, occurs. I have no idea. And about the prevention, I have heard enough in my life.
Okay. Alexa, and you?
It is definitely better from some years ago, especially prevention, because as Gustavo said, we have like free access to condoms, even at subways. But sometimes, because we avoid talking about STIs and about our sex lives, we are ashamed of picking up the condoms and using it in front of everybody. So I think they are better nowadays, but it's like a hard work and we have to keep doing it, like we are doing it right now about prevention and diagnosis and treatment. Of course it can be better, but are we still going to talk about it in the future? I hope so. And the government has a special place leading us to it and making programs about it and making it a basic subject at schools, for example.
Yeah, it's a huge problem because they should work together, and prevention, diagnosis, and treatment. And it's really common people just know about prevention, so they don't know how can be diagnosed, or how they could be treated. So normally people have no idea how to deal with any STI, and it's a huge problem. Okay, guys, and about HIV, do you think this is the only STI that people use it to talk about? Gustav, what do you think?
I think it's not the only one, but it's the most spoken one, But I remember a couple of years ago, the government were created, some campaigns to talk about the HPV, which is another really common disease, and that now we, fortunately, we have a how can I say that? Vaccine,
yes.
Vaccine in the SUS. So it's really great, this news, and I think the government is not talking about the HPV anymore, but it should. And also, I have heard about other campaigns about other diseases, but it's not so common. But the HIV is the most common,
Yeah, I got your point. Indio Clayton, what do you think?
I think it's not the only one, but the most talking about, because it's more dangerous, have no cure for that, because it's more common, you see advertising, campaigns, so on TV, internet, something like that. But I believe the main point is because of that you have no cure and more dangerous. I think it's because of that.
Okay. Jessica, and what is your opinion? She's not here. Lucas, please.
Yeah, but actually, we are in the fourth, right? Do you think HIV is the only STI that people talk about?
Yes.
I'm a little bit ashamed because I don't know the difference between HIV and AIDS. I actually don't know. I know how to prevent that, but I don't know. No clue, no freaking way that I know something about that. Even HIV is the only STI that people talk about. I know there is more like hepatitis, hepatitis actually, hepatitis and ages. I think in my mind, in my knowledge, that's all, unfortunately.
Okay. And Alexa, and you?
Something that I've just thought about is that we talk about prevention, diagnosis, and treatment, but sometimes we don't talk about the symptoms. So, like, sometimes we have some STI diseases and we don't know about it because we don't know how is this disease, like the symptoms that we have, and we just live with it and we are putting some other people in dangers. But I'm gonna come back to question 4. Sometimes I think HIV, unfortunately, is the only one who people talk about, but I know it's not. It's just the other diseases should have been more spoken, just like Gustavo said, and we don't. So we have to take care about it and be more careful to, I don't know, give the importance the other diseases also have besides HIV.
Okay. And Gustavo, basically, there is a huge difference between HIV and AIDS. HIV is the infection, and it can cause AIDS. If you don't treat yourself, it can increase it to an HIV. Otherwise, if you are treating yourself with some medicines that there are today, you don't even pass the virus to another person. So because your I forgot the name, your I don't know how to explain it in English. It's really hard to explain. But basically, it's this. HIV is it's an infection that if you don't treat, it can become an AIDS. And if you treat, you can just don't pass to another person in your sexual relationships. Okay. And guys, what do you think about, do you think that people are ashamed of looking for prevention, diagnosis, and treatment, or this is not the reason for people don't discuss about this? What do you think, Alexia?
I think people are let me just read again, sorry. Yes, people are ashamed to look for prevention and diagnosis and treatment because, as we also said, we avoid talking about it, so we don't have information. And I think we're gonna discuss it. Yes, we're gonna discuss it later. But we treat people with STIs like stigmatized, and we like cut back on society. We put them behind us. We think we are, I don't know, over them for some under them for some reason, and we aren't. So I think we are ashamed to look for prevention because of it. And I don't know everybody, but society in general, we have this annoying way to look into each other's lives, and it doesn't matter for us. We all have our own lives to take care of, and we are still taking care of each other's lives. So I think people are ashamed because of it, and they shouldn't. Just to be clear, they shouldn't.
Okay. And dear Lucas, what do you think?
You know, it's hard to say something about it because who I don't know if I have met someone who has some kind of that disease like STI, some STI, and actually it's hard to say something about that because I have never talked to anyone about that kind of disease, you know, and knowing our society, it's for sure we how can say that people are ashamed because of course we don't even discuss about that. We don't have any clues about that, and you know it's hard to be someone that no one's know, you know. I am AIDS I don't say host, no, I don't know how to say. I have AIDS, and the others don't know about AIDS, and they think like with a touch I can spread the virus, and they will be like freaking out with me. And I think based on that, people became ashamed.
Okay. Yeah. Sometimes people just avoid things that they don't know about. Clayton, and you, what do you think?
Yes, I think that people are ashamed to look information, but besides that, people take too long time for for look for treatment, and after people have the diagnosis, to share this with your parents or with your partner, because not the treatment can make you feel better, but the people give support for you, and people are ashamed to share this because they are afraid to be judged because of that.
Okay, and what do you think about people that they are negative, and even they being negative, they just avoid to do the test, for example?
So I don't know if I understand very well, but people that have a negative result and avoid talk about it.
Yeah, for example, HIV test, for example, should be a normal test. I think that everyone should do it, but people normally avoid this, even if the person is negative. So what do you think? Why do you think that people avoid do this test?
Who looking for problems, find problems maybe because of that, or no, don't take so much care about your health. Normally, let this or after, and not looking or know if you are okay or not. And when you figure out that, so it's too late sometimes. I don't know if I reply your
Okay,
question,
I got your point.
but normally people avoid to know the avoid to find problems.
Gustavo, and you, what do you think?
Well, I think people not talking only about the STI, people always have some problems with diseases, you know. A good example would be the COVID, you know. People were so ashamed to say that, oh, I had COVID because other people will like judge them, you know, in the hospital, or afraid of losing jobs, or friends, or the people don't talk to them, or, you know. So I think disease in general are a problem, but the STI is even worse. The situation is even worse because people, they avoid taking tests because they don't know how to react. So they can imagine, oh, what if I do the test and I get positive and I don't know what to do? So people prefer to live with this question, you know, before in their lives. And I think the solution for this is talking more about it, you know, more information, more campaigns, the doctor, family talking, and also at school, because this is misinformation. You know, basically for me, it's misinformation.
Perfect. And okay, Alexa, let's continue with you. Do you think that people living with STI, they are stigmatized?
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to agree with this. They are stigmatized because we don't have any information, and I don't remember who said it. I'm sorry, but we think that just because someone has HIV or any other STI, just by the touch, we're gonna get this disease, and then we put these people away from us for no reason. And like there is a TV show, I don't know if you guys are interested in this subject. It's called Pose. It's about the LGBT community in the 90s. And they talk a lot about STIs and HIV and how these people have to treat about this. And like I don't know how it is to have HIV. I don't know anyone who already had it, but I think it's a really hard struggle that you have in your life, and I know these people don't deserve to be stigmatized all the time by society. They really don't.
Yeah, nice point. Clayton, and you, what do you think about it?
Yes, I believe that. So I think it's very difficult to overcome that way. So that's it. I have no more talk
Clayton,
about it.
you are phrasing.
Can you hear me now? So can you hear me better?
Yes.
So I agree with that. I believe that very hard people overcome that, and so I think is that something that people will bring for their whole life if you contract something like that.
Okay. Well, Lucas, and you, what do you think?
Yeah, talking about well, we are what? Wait. Oh, yeah. Oh no. And for sure, they stigmatize. As I said, we don't have that amount of knowledge about the disease, and imagine like generations without know, and you can imagine yourself, and you are the ones who doesn't know, because almost everyone doesn't know about that, and now you have that disease. You know how what you thought about others, and now you have it. You have it now, and you probably know how others will think about you. Did you get it?
Yes,
Yeah,
I got
sure.
it.
And for sure you never say even a word about that. You even will hide it from your parents if it's possible. I think it's a fucking hard thing for those who have that disease. I don't think the disease don't in my mind the disease don't kill. What kill is the others. The society kill the ones who have the disease. I think for me it's the worst for them.
I got your point. Yeah, it's something hard to think about it. Gustavo, and you, what do you think?
Well, I totally agree with you guys. I think people are really stigmatized. This is a problem because we have a lot of examples of people being judged, and as Alexa said, there are several ways for you to get infected. It could be like a vaccine or a blood infusion, things like that, and it doesn't really mean that you had sex without prevention or something like that. But even if this was the case, it's not other people's problem, and it's something that could have happened to everyone. And we should talk about it normally and accept that this is a normal, a regular situation, And by thinking that way, we can change other people's minds, and we can accept this disease and talk more openly about this in our society. But I think people are really stigmatized.
Okay, guys. So everyone here agreed that people living with HIV and with any STI actually are stigmatized. And guys, do you think that is it possible to reduce this stigma? And what can we do to reduce this stigma? And what do you think, Alexa?
It's gonna sound so cliche, guys. Forgive me about it, but I really think we need to do our part. We know, like talking about STIs and HIV here, I think it's a huge step because we are not used to talking about it. I don't know, with our friends or with our family. It's not a subject that we usually discuss. So talking about it here, it's really meaningful, and we have to bring this subject to other people when we talk about it with our friends or with someone we know about, and spread the information, because if we have it, like, we must do it in order to uh, decrease this stigmatize that we put into these people. people that has HIV or other sexual diseases. So in my opinion, I know it's cliche, forgive me about it, but in order to decrease this, we have to do our part and we have to like baby steps, baby steps in order to make it better.
Perfect. And you, Lucas, what do you think?
I always say if something is cliche, that's a reason, and probably you get it. As Alex said, we should talk basically in the main point. We should talk a lot more about that, and we should have a lot more information. As the lady said in the video, why not make more campaigns about that? Like she said about the seat belt, why not talk about the diagnosis, the treatment? And I think the best thing could be how to treat not the disease, but someone who have that fucking disease. You know, 'cause, I think it's the main point how to treat others, and basically how the disease. I think the thing in our mind is that fucking spread of the disease. Because imagine a child, a kid that have the AIDS, HIV. Probably imagine you are a father. Probably we know some fathers out there. And do you think they will allow their children have fun with a little kid that have AIDS or HIV? And it's understandable for those who do that because they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the information. The main problem, I think, is basically the information. And we should, as Alexa said, we should spread it a lot more.
Okay. And you, Clayton, what do you think?
So I think that one way to reduce that is not treat the people difference, and beside that is be very difficult. You give some hope to them and show that them can have a normal life, I believe, and give support to them. I think it's the way to reduce this stigma.
Okay. Gustavo?
Well, I agree with my friends. I think information is everything. I also we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. I really enjoy a program that there was here in São Paulo. It's called ProEd. I think they usually talk more about drugs, but one solution could be create a program like ProEd and talk more about sexual disease, like STIs, because these programs, they used to teach kids in the early stages, like in first grades, and kids are really more, how can I say that, receptive, They accept more information, they are learning everything is new for them. And I think projects like that, they are really helpful. They can change the world, basically that.
Perfect. Okay, guys. So I share with you the link to this meeting on YouTube. So please click on this link and give us a like, follow us on YouTube, and share with us some comments, please. And Alexa, it was your first time here, and I want to know your opinion about this meeting, about TNT, about everything.
Guys, I enjoy it so So much. It's so nice talking to you about this kind of stuff. And I like talking. I am a really talkative person. So it's nice to me to talk in English about this kind of stuff. Lucas, Gustavo, Clayton, Leo, thank you so much. I really enjoyed. It's a little late for me. By this time, I'm so tired and I am so sleepy, but the discussion kept me awake. So I'm going to try to come back more often. And thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you are more than welcome here always. So guys, that's it. I really hope to see you here next week, and have a great week, and see you all, and bye bye.